Good morning. Happy Tuesday, which means time to talk travel day. My very, very favorite subject. I am Desiree Miller. I write Stress-Free Baby, which is meant to not mean anything about babies. It means being stress-free, baby. That is life. And I write 60-second escapes and contribute to a bunch of other travel sites and love to travel. It's kind of my passion, and I do love sharing my travel tips. And today, last week we talked about really bad hotel guests and how not to be that guy. Today, I want to talk about ways to make your hotel experience even better. And my first tip really is before you even go, before you even pick the hotel where you're going to stay, do the research. I know for me personally, whether the hotel has a gym doesn't really matter. If I'm going to get out and exercise, I'm going to do it around the property or around the location where we're visiting. So that doesn't matter as much to me. Having a balcony does. I am the kind of person, I'm not claustrophobic, but I really like to get outside without having to necessarily get dressed in the morning. Not that I stand out on a balcony naked. That is not who I am. I'm not that guest. I'm talking about just in a robe with, a glass of juice, water, chilling out before everybody else in the room wakes up. I'm that guy. I like to wake up early and get my quiet time in, and that's just easier to do if you're in a resort or a room with a balcony. So before you go, kind of know what your priorities are, figure it out from there. You can't always make that happen. A lot of times, like New York City, for example, I can't necessarily find a place that has a balcony, but I can book a place with a rooftop bar, which in New York City is kind of my must. Love, love, love a hotel with a rooftop bar. So that's sort of my before you go. My second tip, when you check in, or actually when you book it, usually online, you book the day, the time, and you can make special requests. Do not skip the special request part because that's where things can get really fun. I did a TV segment once on the special request and the things that people did, and hotels were really bending over backwards to try and make these requests happen. So things like, hey, I love going to bed with a bag of M&Ms, the hotel would actually put a bag of M&Ms on the pillow when the person checked in or when there was turn down service. They make special note of that. And some of them were really far-fetched. Like I'd really love a photo of, gosh, who's hot these days? For me, Josh Duhamel. Yeah, I'd sure love a photo of him by my bedside. Some hotels literally go the length and will print up a photo, frame it, put it beside your bed. So don't skip that because you can get some real goodies there. For me, when you check in, I am the kind of person who's going to get to know the name of the person checking me in. They can be your very best friend if you want to have special treatment at the hotel. So things like, getting to know that, hey, it's Joe who checked you in. And Joe, you know what? Listen, I'm a light sleeper. So if you could put me really far from the elevator, that's a kind of thing they'll help with, or, I'm a sucker for a great view. Can you make sure you give me the room with like the best view? And I mean, not necessarily that they're going to upgrade you to, a higher level or whatever, but I know the last place I stayed, I had the option of being sort of in a villa that offered a lot more space or a room that was smaller but had a much more amazing view. I'm going to go for the smaller room with the amazing view. So my point is, make it clear if this is something that, you want space, say, you know what, I'd much rather have a room that had a not so good view, but lots more space, especially, if I'm traveling with all 4 kids. But typically I don't care. We can be all crawling on top of each other. I want the best view. So make those requests clear. Early check-in and late check-out. I'm always going to ask for these things. And even if you can't, like some are ridiculous. The last trip I took, we had a 5.5-hour drive. And my daughter wanted to get there bright and early. I'm an early morning person, so I was good with getting up at 4 a.m. and driving us down to this resort. Now, I knew check-in wasn't till 3 or 4. That said, typically you can get early check-in, by noon. And it's okay as long as they let you use the amenities early. So kind of clarify that. We got down there early, 9, 10 o'clock, and changed into our bathing suits in the bathroom. They have very nice bathrooms typically in the lobbies because they're still trying to impress people. So we changed into our bathing suits right there and went out and made use of the resort pool. Only thing you need to look out for with that is sometimes they require little armbands. They want you to, be marked as a hotel guest. So stop in the front desk and say, listen, you know what? We're going to be here for the day. I know we can't get into our room yet, but can we go ahead and get the armbands so that we have access? And there are some resorts where the benefits are much bigger than just, being able to use the pool. For example, Universal. If you're going and you stay in what they call the elite hotels, so like the Lowe's, Portofino, or the Sapphire, you also get fast passes for the amusement parks, up to 5 fast passes per room. So we like to do that where we get there really early. You'll get the fast passes, which are sometimes $100 a person in the parks. You get them as part of your hotel stay. And a lot of times the hotel is only $250, $300 for the night. So you're already getting all these extra bonuses. You just have to ask. So in that case, we'll go early, and then you get the fast pass the next day as well. So that's a really cool perk. Hi, Dana. Dana, you are the travel guru. If you want to jump in on this, have at it. I know that you maximize all of this, the stays as well. You let me know, and I'll have you jump in. But seriously, that is a huge one for me. Go early, check out late. Get the permission to check out late, though. Do not be that person who they walk in the room at 11 and you're still passed out. No. Ask if you're an honors member, and that typically requires next to nothing to join, to be like a Hilton Honors or something. It doesn't mean you have to go spend $2,000 on stays for the year. It means you sign up, you give them your email address, so then they can send you deals. You can unsubscribe after you go if it's a problem, but I like that because it's typically easier to get on the free Wi-Fi. There are extra little perks like breakfast quite often you can get for free, or discounts in the stores and what have you. So that's a good deal. Like I said, I already covered making your request. If you are that nice person when you check in and you've made friends with Joe who checked you in, and you wave to Joe every time you walk by the desk, Joe's going to go out of his way to be kind to you. And, you never know the surprises you might get. If you mention, hey, it's my birthday, it's my anniversary, or it's Monday, and I love Monday, whatever it is, they'll look out for you. And you might be surprised at the special benefits they throw your way. I'm also a big believer in calling out the people who do good. So say you're sitting by the pool, somebody's walked by, maybe they brought you a special drink, or I've been there where they've come by with, where were we? Oh, this was on a cruise ship, but they come by with little frozen fruits in cups just as a snack. It's just an extra touch. I love getting right on Facebook, Twitter, and saying, oh my gosh, look how cool these people are. Joe brought me, an extra sweet, while I was sitting by the pool. And they love it, and they will retweet you, and then they know you are there. So all you people who hate the social media and use it to your advantage. Dana says, don't forget to check the benefits of the concierge floor. The extra upfront money can save you later. Breakfast and snacks in club. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of this at the Sheraton. I have stayed at the Sheraton, even here in town in Atlanta before, where you can walk in there and say you're just going to hit Atlanta for the day and you're going to be walking the streets. They will let you take with you the snacks. Like, you can have free breakfast there, but they'll also say, hey, take the cookies with you. Take some water bottles. They're not looking at you like you're some kind of thief. They're saying, this is what it's here for. Make your stay great. So that's very cool. Remembering their name, talking to the concierge. Now, sometimes the concierge is not the person I want to talk to, because a lot of times they've got special partnerships and deals with local venues, and they might get you coupons, but they might also get kickbacks. I like to ask the guy who checked me in. So I go back to Joe and say, Joe, where do you go for a good time here? Like, where's your favorite bar? Where do you get your best burger? Whatever it is, because Joe doesn't necessarily get money back for telling you anything. So it's a true blue, hey, this is where my family always goes. Or, hey, my buddies, this is where we like to, on a Friday night, this is the best place to go dancing. They have the best DJ. Like, that's the kind of, I want the local point of view, and I don't necessarily want the concierge version of it. So keep that in mind. Oh, and I talked about asking the hotel about extra perks, things like that. I'll tell you this, we went to New York City, and my mom had double knee surgery, and she didn't need a wheelchair to get around, and we didn't want the hassle of a wheelchair getting on and off the airplane. But when I was looking into the hotel in advance at some of the benefits and some of the things, they actually said we have a loaner wheelchair. And you know what? We put in our reservation. We'd love to use the loaner wheelchair while we're there. And we didn't use it the whole time. We checked it in, we checked it out. That was awesome. So look into those little perks. Same, like if you have a dog and you're using, the service there, if you're checking in and with a dog, they'll give you special treats for the pup, things like that, that really, to me, are huge. I told you about letting them know if you've got an anniversary or something like that. Some of my other tips, I started taking down notes. The golden rule, treat people the way you want to be treated. Dude, this applies everywhere. But if you're calling them by their name and you're being kind and you're being polite and they will go over and above to make sure you're having a good time. So same with like tipping well. You're the person who cleans your room. Now, I've always been the person, I don't necessarily want someone in my room while I'm staying there. So I'll put the do not disturb sign on the door. That isn't always being respected anymore because of what happened in Vegas, where, the hotel was kind of called out for not knowing, hey, this guy was, setting up all these weapons. Why didn't somebody see this? So now a lot of times even Disney will go in and check the room. Management just wants to make sure there's still somebody in there and that they're not doing something crazy. But I will make sure that night, the last night when I'm checking out, that I tip very well. That matters. Just people talk, guys, and they're saying good things and bad about the people in that room. So get to know the staff for those tips you give, but also the tips they'll give you back, not monetarily, but advice on where to go, what to stay, making the most of it. Getting there early, leaving late, that's just adding time to your trip. That's a total hotel hack people know about but don't necessarily exercise. And I don't mean, you can still use the resort without actually being in your room and knowing what part of the room you're in, and being educated. Knowing, two of the resorts I've stayed at recently, the Sheraton in Panama City Beach and the Margaritaville down in Fort Lauderdale, had free bike rentals. Free bike rentals. Hello. I'm jumping on that. You can see so much more of the city. You can, when you're pedaling, and it's fun for the kids. It gets some of the energy out. I think that's really cool. On the flip side, find out about the fees in advance as well, because nothing's worse than getting there and then being told, oh, well, there's this $25 a day resort fee that you also have to suck up. That leaves a really bad taste in my mouth. And you can sometimes get that waived in advance, when you're picking out your stay. So the hotel perks can confirm all of it, all of the amenities. The free bike rentals are a big deal. Sometimes they've got discounts on their spa treatments and stuff like that. Sometimes that's just what Joe at the front desk will work out for you if he likes you. Again, another reason to be nice, to sweet talk. And if you do get in a room that you do not like for some reason, and this happened to me in New York, at the New Yorker, I was put in a room, and I got to just tell you, they were actually very good with customer service. They called the room and said, so Miss Miller, how do you like your, the room? And I said, I hate it. I hate it. First of all, hotel rooms in New York City are typically smaller than what I'm used to, but it had the worst view. It had this, and I said, is there any way you can put me in some place that, I kind of in my heart wanted to be able to see the Empire State Building, and they said, you know what, let me look and we'll call you right back. 2 minutes later, there was a knock at my door and they said, we're going to take you to another room. And they moved me, and it wasn't $1 more. It was just a matter of speaking up and saying, you know what, I'm not just going to sleep in this room. I'm actually going to work, and I'd like to see cool things. Same thing happened when I was in Puerto Vallarta. I was in a room that had the worst view, and this is a very good tip. Check out the reviews of the hotel before you go. Things like TripAdvisor. The reviews will give you priceless tips. Like for me, it was request to be as close to the pool as possible because that got you closer to the beach. The room I was put in was closer to the street, and my view was the street behind us. So it was sort of like it was like the back alleyway where workers would come in and out. And in this case, it was where people who were selling their goods on the street were. And it was like the street they would use to park their cars and get all their wares out and then go hawk the stuff on the beach. But it was also where they would go relieve themselves on their car tires. And I mean, literally, I opened my window to a view of a man peeing on a tire. And I thought, I so don't want to stay here. And I called the office or the front desk, and they said, we are fully booked. We don't have another room to put you in now, but as soon as something opens, we will move you. And I said, perfect, because the last thing you want is for me to be posting pictures of my really wonderful trip where the view is that. Not good. If you need other things, extra linens, extra shampoos, a quieter room, all you got to do is ask, guys. Speak up. This is not a time to be quiet and go home and say it was a horrible trip. Make it good while you're there. So if you have hotel hacks similar to this, jump in, by all means, share them. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I will put together something on my website to share with everybody else, especially if you have a really good golden one that nobody's heard before. Beyond that, if you guys like the tips, definitely give me a like on my Facebook page here. Thumbs up to this, comment, and share it, because I am all about sharing the good. Have a great day. Make it a great week.